Hi. My name is Stuck in the Mud No More. My name is Knowing the Ineffable. Communicating. With the intangible. Funny name, huh? My name is Communicating with the Intangible. My name is Doing the Impossible. My name is Theodore Cottingham, an old, an old guy in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, USA, for the moment. Loving you all to do all the things I do and more. Or is it all the things that Jesus did and more that I'm talking about, that I'm communicating about? All the things that Jesus did, all the miracles. Becoming what Jesus became, a new creation. Born a man, a simple commoner. Became transcendent. Did miracles, things that people weren't supposed to be able to do. He did them. Or so the story goes. What stories are you living by this day? What stories fashion your world? What stories give you hope or limitations? What stories drive you crazy, drive you to the cross, drive you to your knees, drive you to look within, drive you to reconsider, to reinterpret, to look a little farther, to look deeper, to pull from within you and begin to ask the right questions, ask more questions. Are you willing to ask questions that a lot of people would say are sacrilegious to ask? Are you no more framing, picturing, devoting your life to a God that wants to critique you? And if you don't make it happy, put you in hell for eternity? Not my God. I am an old man now. I'm 73. I'm in Eureka Springs. And now I make a recording almost every day saying things that I never thought I would say, that I never knew I could think, that I didn't know I could know, much less imagine, much less feel are possible, much less teach over the airwaves like this, to communicate with others, with you. You who have hope. Or do you want to just live your life languishing in the stories of the past? I see a better story. I feel a better future. And it is not within your grasp. It is within your privilege to enter. You can know the unknowable. You can dance with light. My friend, you can do things you never imagined. And yes, I'm an old guy, a radical, maybe, a heretic, whatever you want to label me. But I am me coming forth. Me, A-one, O-N-E. One. One that knows there's more. One that has lived with, at times, an energy, a presence, a spirit, whatever you would like to classify it, categorize it, label it as. Something from another world. Something that says, Jesus is my pattern. And all those things he did, you can do. And I say it to you. I say it to me. I say it to us. I say it to a student body. I say it to you who want more than classical physics, who want more than classical church, who want more than some man strutting around, yelling, quoting Bible verses, speaking for God, declaring what God is, what God isn't, what you are and what you aren't, and how you should live and how you should dress, what you should eat and what you shouldn't, and what values you should have. That's not unconditional love. That's not love in the form that I know it, because I've met unconditional love. I have written and recorded the words of unconditional love for over 20 years now. Love will not command you. Doesn't happen. Love doesn't give you a list of commandments. I tell you, love, true love, unconditional love, bows before you every single day, waiting on you to hear, to listen, to romance, to love. So I realize, I get it. I'm an old guy talking about things that are radical, that don't fit the mold. They're not congruent with the party plan. I started out as a Christian and left that long ago. There's more to the story. And everyone who wants to tell you the story of majesty, the story of creation, the story of God, Christ, no matter what you want to call it or label it, whoever wants to tell you that story about him, I suggest they have not met love. They've heard a story and they repeat it. And that's all they know. And they think they have the truth. And then they think, lo and behold, with the truth, they think they can speak for the author. They think they know the author and what the author wants and doesn't want. But they never met the author. They have prostrated themselves before a theory at the feet of men who say they know the law, know the idol, know God. They pray, they worship, they weep, they intercede, they study. But my friend, there's more to the story for you. If you're willing to go get it, if you'll unearth it, if you'll go into the holy place, are you willing to go to a place where there is no religion? Are you willing to go into a place to question everything you know, about everything you have lived, about everything that you see, including the cosmos, the fabric of the universe, this 3D world, what you can do, what you're made of, what you can hear, what you can fabricate, construct, create? I wonder, and that is how so many of the love sessions have begun that I have had with love. Relaxing in my chair with a cup of coffee. I wonder, for so long I wondered what the new covenant might be. I couldn't really understand it. I could read all about it. The new covenant. I was a dedicated, devout, devoted Christian, and became increasingly disciplined in my faith, in my commitment, in my quest to know God. I studied the Bible religiously. I read books about the Bible. But I don't know, there was just something. I wasn't satisfied just to know. What was presented to me the way it was presented to me. All these people around me for years, decades, they all espoused all these theories about God, spoke for God, talked about God. But I didn't want just information about God. I wanted to know God. I had read the story of Enoch. I'd read the story of Elijah. I'd read the story of Abraham. Abraham didn't go to church. Abraham wasn't like us. I don't know. Could be, maybe so. The Bible says he was a moon worshiper. So did what we call God critique, judge, talk with Abraham, bless Abraham because of his moon worship? Or because he saw the heart? The heart, the motive. The motive. The unknowable Abraham. The Abraham that had no face. The face of Abraham might say certain words and worship the moon. Be rather coarse. But inside the real, there was more. Abraham became a leader. I'm asking you to become a leader. No matter what you have led or have not led, whether you lead a company, a church, a denomination, a cathedral, a business, a family, or nothing at all. There is an aspect of leadership. I suggest to you, leadership is at the core. Leadership is central to the values, to the learning system, to the ability for you to look inside, for you to see the light within and converse with it, letting the light teach you first-person love. And this is central to Meonics. And Meonics is simply a name that I have been given in my channeling to encompass all that I teach. Meonics, the study of meology. You becoming the real you. The real me that sees you in the story of Abraham, the story of Daniel, who wasn't afraid of the lion's den. When you have eyes to see. The Jesus story? Do you have eyes to see the Jesus story? Oh, you just want to accept him, accept a theory, worship from afar. So he will come back and you want to accept what he did for you, the vicarious atonement, because he is special and he's the only one. No, my friend, when you see the message, when you feel love, when you let love permeate you, when you let love communicate with you, where you're willing to receive the words of information? Are you going to limit them to words of affirmation to what you already know? You want to be right in your own eyes, so you want God to confirm, affirm. You just want to know more about God? You want to be told you're right? Or do you want correction? It's a valid question. The immature do not want correction. The mature seek correction, value correction, correction. So when you want to know the ineffable truth, grace, peace, provision, you want provision, provision. My God shall supply all of your need according to his riches and glory. Well, where the hell is it? Most of us work like a dog. We're not part of the, what is it they call? The 1%? We don't make so much money that we don't pay any tax. I paid a hell of a lot. Seemed like a lot to me. Sure was hard to pay, that self-employment tax. Wow. There's more to the story. And, you know, I compliment you if you care to know the more. I was thinking this morning that it takes guts, I guess, just to even listen to me, listen to so much of what I say, what I teach, because I'm teaching from another world. I'm teaching values. I'm teaching words, concepts, constructs. I'm giving you pictures of another world to see the unknowable. I'm asking you to learn to do the impossible. That you learn the unknowable, that which is hidden from you. How many people say, oh, you can't know the things of God, the mystery of God. You can't go behind the veil, this, that, or the other. Stick around, do what you do, be a good boy, be a good girl, don't make waves, and soon you'll die. You'll cross over to the other side. It'll be your time. Basically, just sit down, shut up. That's what so many basically say. Sometimes preachers, pastors too, in so many ways. Maybe a little more tactful, maybe not. When you start asking questions, I wonder if those words in red, John 14:12, instead of asking other people what they mean, what if you begin to ask you? Ask the author. No longer asking God that gave you the 10 Commandments. or a God that created hell. But let's ask love. Maybe change your name for God. Maybe God is not who you thought it was. John 14:12. Jesus said, if you believe in me, you will do the works I do and more. I'm just a simple enough old guy. I believe he meant it. I believe that was the message, whether he said it or not. I believe that even if Jesus never lived. Because the story is valid. The story predated Christianity. The story of a Messiah, the story of a chosen one. The story of someone who would not be limited by electrons, protons, and neutrons. And here I'm an old guy. I come along in the 20th century, began channeling. And in my channeling, I learn about meons. You can laugh. Meons. Meology. Meon. Is meon a particle? Is it the Higgs particle? The God particle? Is it something else? What is its nature, its character? Or is it something? Is it a syllable, a word? To help us envision the unknowable. To begin to operate in the invisible. I suggest to you, yes, I suggest to you Jesus, the commoner, the human, fully human, became the first, quote, born-again new creation, and said, you can do this too. But we have to learn. And we have all these stories to help us learn. But Christianity emasculates the story, castrates the seeker, saying, no, this is not about you. You cannot do these things. You cannot enter the lion's den, close the lion's mouth, walk through the fiery furnace. You can't walk on water, turn water into wine, heal anybody. So what do you think you are, you heretic? You sit down, shut up, and just believe what we tell you to believe, the party line. It was only him, he, all the time wearing their little plastic collar and their robe in their own righteousness because they think they are ordained. They're part of the fivefold ministry. And my friends, so many of them are sincere and they are loving, kind people. They are just loving, kind, sincere people who are wrong because they never paid the price to learn love first person and write the first person words of love. They don't know the author. I stand on these words. I am these words. I'm responsible for these words. And the reason I can speak these words is because I met the author. I met love. I began to channel. Words began to float in me. Ideas begin to surface. I would lay down and think, I wonder. And as Maybe as I wonder, I open. I open the channel. I open to another definition. I open to additional ideas. I open. I'm not trying to control it. I don't want to manipulate it. I simply wanted to know the truth. I simply wanted to be who I am, whatever I am, whoever I am, whatever I am. I want to know my capacity. In growing up a Christian, I had the idea, the concept of God. So I sought God. I was a moon worshiper. I was a Jesus worshiper. If you ask for a fish, will love give you a stone? No. Perfect love has no fear. There's no fear in perfect love. There's no fear. I see a world that is not manufactured by fear, cannot be controlled by manipulation, has no anger, no hubris, no arrogance, no brutality, no sex trafficking, no war, no lack. It operates without the inhabitants comparing themselves to each other, wishing and hoping for a better life, more money, a better shape, more acceptance. And I'm Theodore Cottingham, a coffee drinker in Eureka Springs. Saying there's more. And if you're willing to know, and not be afraid, love will call you out of her. I suggest love, no matter whether you worshiped God, the devil, no matter what your name for God, the moon worshiper. If you're not afraid and you want to know love, if you're willing to know love, if you're willing to say, I wonder if there's any merit to that. I wonder if there are any merit to these things. I wonder if love really is a flow. See, as soon as you want to codify and canonize, you cut off the flow. See, Christianity may introduce people to God, to love, and then it cuts off the flow of life. It cuts off the very energy. Oh, you can't hear God like Isaiah. Those are the prophets of old. They were anointed. There's no miracles for today. That was the day of the Bible and all these kind of things. And they rationalize it and they perpetuate ignorance, bestow ignorance. And they don't cultivate the curiosity. I'm asking you to cultivate your curiosity, the cosmic egg. I'm asking you to no longer be afraid of Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, loveism. Have no fear. Truth is not fragile. And if somebody calls you a heretic, just smile at them because you know where you're going. You're becoming a new creation. Because somehow in your heart, you may have adjusted your thinking. Are you willing to have no fear? Or are you so accustomed to fear, living in fear? Fear of God, fear of Satan, fear of demons and devils, fear of authority, fear of leadership, that you just want to hide. I know the feeling. But I suggest to you, love is calling to you to come out of You know, the idea, I think the picture, okay, you've got this wealthy, affluent guy called Abraham. Worships the moon. And the most preposterous thing happens. Preposterous, ludicrous. It's unreal. It's not of this world. Supposedly God said, Abraham, get up, get your people and things together, and go to a land that I will show you as you go. This is analogous to the path that I think everyone trods who wants to know the author, who wants to know truth, who wants to know love, first-person love. You begin to open. You begin to say, I wonder. I'm willing to know more. I'm not brittle. I choose to be nimble. I choose to be nimble. It's a choice, a daily choice, rather than suffering the brutality of being brittle and other people being brittle against you. If you want to know, you can. The stump of Jesse? Oh, what the heck is that? The stump of Jesse. You can look it up if you want to. And if you want to, you can look up meology. You can look up meonics. Where do you go to look it up? My website, TheodoreCottingham.com. And you look at the top of the screen and there's a little menu. And I change it from time to time. Sometimes it says My Covenant, Meonics Covenant, Database 1, Words from Another World, because they're the first 2,400 messages that I channeled of multi-page length like that. And they're my foundation. They were the voice that said to me, come to a land I will show you. I will tell you things great and mighty that you know not. You know all these things that Jesus did? You can do them. It's not just about him. When he was born, he wet his pants. He didn't know how to walk, talk. He was a common baby, just like you and me. Didn't know who his parents were. He didn't have any wisdom. He was an infant. Had to be cared for, fed. Not unlike us. And we've grown to some degree in physical size, physique. But what is our mentality? Our mentality, for most of us, is stuck back there 2,000 years ago or whatever, in some time period. The Stone Age, the Dark Age, the age of without. The age of ignorance. I guess, if anything, I'd say this is the age of religion. Religion, the collar, the robe, the ring, the Sanhedrin, the Pharisees, the Christians, the Bibles. Oh my God, what brutality in the name of God. Brutality. Kill people, slice their head off. But there is an energy. There is a God. Energy? God. There's a force. There's a source. There's a something. There's a life force, a life source, the source of life, the source of love that doesn't compare you, critique you, and condemn you to hell. There's a love that says, Abraham, wake up. Come to a land. Come to a land I will show you as you go. And my friend, I suggest to you that land that you're being invited to come to go to get up, is to get up and out of your complacency and the habits that have formed you in the will of other people, of other stories that have formed you, other stories that have limited you and told you you're a woman and you need to do this and that and wear your hair such and such length. You don't wear hot pants or cutoffs or this, that, or the other. Or you need to do this, you need to do that. You need to service a man? Well, I have a bunch of pictures. I think you can fly. I know you can communicate with an energy of love because I have. I've channeled it. I've met it. Many times in those early days, I would write on yellow tablet with pen, multi-pages. And as long as I didn't edit, as long as I didn't try to make what I was writing conform to anything that I knew, as long as I just simply wrote a flow, I would experience a flow. And this flow is this flow of energy that I invite you to see, to feel, to come into, to develop, to cultivate, to ask questions, to experience, and learn to know the source of life, the source of love, before this universe was ever created. Preposterous. Ludicrous. Billions of people can't be wrong, right? They looked for a man to stand in the gap. I'm looking for women. Because women have a womb. Oh, but I'm not defining this by flesh. I suggest to you Genesis 1 creation says, whatever you want to think about God. God created man and woman, he created them. But see, it's all in how you've been programmed to think of something. You read that and you think, oh, man and woman, too. I suggest to you, it's one. In Genesis 1, there was not a binary gender. It was the gender of a light body. A light body. It was not male nor female. Genesis 2 creation came eons later. There's just so much more to the story. Are you willing to become a cosmic citizen and operate in the cosmos? Not limited to your universe. Not limited to classical physics. My name is Love in Two Shoes Cottingham. And I have a school. And my school doesn't operate like any other school on this planet. The promised land is within you. The promised lamb is inside of you. Betty, Yvette, Karen, Susie, Ralph, Igor, no matter what your name is, the land is within you. If you're willing to go. But to go inside of you, you will walk through the lion's den, just like Daniel. You'll go through the fiery furnace, like the Hebrew children. There'll be times you want to turn and run. You want to go hide. Because we have been programmed to fear, to live in fear. We've been programmed to fear God. The most foolish. Do you think I would teach my son to be foolish, to be fearful of me? Fearful? My daughter to be fearful? If you don't please me, I'm going to cast you into hell. I'll disinherit you. You won't come eat at my table. How pompous, how arrogant, how ridiculous, how unlike love. My kids are welcome at my table, welcome in my home, no matter what they say, think, or feel of what I teach or who I am. Nothing can destroy my love. Love is not weak. Ignorance is like kryptonite for Superman, remember? Religion is like kryptonite. That's good. Yeah, I like that. I haven't said that before, I don't think. Religion is like a virus. Organic kryptonite. Words that give us stories. That put us in a state of fear and being limited to protons, neutrons, and electrons. And my friend, if you become a me that is source love, before the construct of God being a divine something else was ever thought of, you can do so. But it's costly. And that's why I say my school is the costliest school on planet Earth. Certainly not in dollars. But in time, effort, energy, surrender. Because you begin to learn to surrender to actually be who you actually are, without the facade of this construct, without the facade. And this is meology, this is meonics. And if you want to understand meonics and meology, if you want to understand me, where I came from, what I've been through, if you want to understand what your capacity is, if you want to see a picture of the land that you can come into, if you're willing to come out of what you are in and how you have limited yourself so severely and been so brutal with each other, and so many people have been so brutal with you, if you're willing to know, see, you can know, you can see, you can become it. You can go into that database one. And if you begin reading at the first one, it doesn't sound like it's out the box. But just keep reading a little bit. And it even has a search function. You don't have to go line by line, precept by precept, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can search. There's 7 volumes in Database 1, 2,400 multi-page lessons. Search on meonics, search on meology. If you want me, You can know me? Huh. That's not what love says. Love looks at love knows you without any clothes on, without any pretense. And love says, if you want to know me, be me. And when you learn who love is, it's the most humbling experience of all. Many times, I would write. And I learned to type in high school. I was a good typist. After I would write, I'd come back to my office and I'd type it up. And after I would type it up, I would print it. And then I would sit down. Unhurriedly. And read. And absorb. And many times, I cried. More than once when I began to realize some of the things that was coming through me, how love would be described and how I would be corrected and how I would value that correction more than my breath. I would weep many times. At times, I got on the floor, face down, crying. Grateful, amazed, awestruck. And yet at some point I'd get up and I had work to do. And I would interface with people that thought I was a lunatic. I had lost it. Maybe some still do think that. But you, my friend, if you're listening and you listen to this, I honor you. And I thank you. There's more. There's more than I have shared. There is so much more than I can communicate at this moment. There is so much more. Because actually, it's like I mine. I dig up. I excavate. I turn the valve. I allow some of this to come forth. But even in letting it come forth, there's an aspect of learning to assimilate the diction and grammar to convey these things to you in a coherent, somewhat coherent manner. So I'm so grateful that I can use ChatGPT 4.0 to create some of these pictures. I love you and I honor you, and I thank you for listening. There's more. There's so much more than I have said. There's so much more. Be not afraid. Be not afraid of false teachers. Be not afraid of untruth. Love is not fragile. Love loves examination, invites you to cultivate. Love appreciates when you entreat love and begin to wonder. I wonder. Open to love, to let love teach you. See, love will teach you directly, and this is central to what I call my school, the school of you, the school of me, the school of us, the school of a race of light, a race of light beings open to every nation, tribe, and tongue on earth and farther. Because the energy of love exists. And I suggest to you, if you're not communicating with love, it's not love's fault. We've been taught wrong. And it's not that I want to point the finger at anybody or point blame. We've been ignorant, and ignorant has proclaimed ignorance. Ignorance has proclaimed Jesus was the only son of supposedly what love is. But my friend, there's room for you, but it's not at the cross. There's hope for you, but it's not at an altar rail. It's those moments where you open to love, where you begin to kiss the thought. Can you kiss a thought? I don't know. It just kind of came out like that. Like most of what I speak does. Kiss the thought. It's a romance. It's a romance. Everything about God and religion that uses force is not of love. Love does not need force. Love does not need your sword. Brutality, enforcement, that's not love. It's the opposite. Control. Control, 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 control. Religion is all about control. I'm about life. Life that you might have it more abundantly. Not even needing the dress you wear. Because in light, we are naked. But there's no sensuality. There's no lewdness. There's no raping, pillaging. That doesn't even compute. It's not there. Because perfect love is. Perfect love. Perfect love. The unknowable. You can know. I've stood in the gap. I've paid a price. And I go now. There are times I wonder, will I die? Like everybody else, even having all of this information, all of database one, and actually multiple databases that are not even online. Will I die? I don't think so, because I think our last enemy is death. Just like I don't think Jesus died on the cross. Why? Because it's what I've channeled. I think he ascended from the cross. And they didn't know what to do because all of a sudden there was nobody on the cross. Makes for a good story. Changes a story. You select your ending. No, wait. You're selecting your beginning. This is the new beginning. The beginning to see this story is about you, where you become it, no longer crucified by the words of other people, so that you begin to do the things Jesus did and more. Whether you're 99, decrepit, bent over on a walker, whether you're incontinent, whether you have teeth in your mouth or not, it's not over. And that's why I live, and this is what I teach. And this is what the School of Cosmic Leadership is about. For your leadership to ignite. Because you're willing to ask the hard questions. You're willing to examine truth. You're willing to no longer dictate to love how love comes to you, or what love says to you, or how it says it. You're no longer confining it to your belief system, to your Bible, to what people have taught you to be and do. You're coming out. You're coming out. You're coming out of her. You're coming out of the conformity. To other people's words, so that you begin to operate in the energy of the living word. The word that comes through you, that you create with, so that you begin to see the land that was promised Abraham is promised you. And that land is inside of you. And you begin to learn to see. And as you see, you create in a world not limited by classical physics. And this is the opportunity we all have before us this day. Thank you for allowing me to share these words with you, this time with you. Thank you for allowing me to share my life with you, because my life is these words, these pictures, these stories. Database 1, Meonics, Meology. If you seek me, you will find me. You will find me when you seek me. No, you will find me when you seek me with all of your heart. When you want this, you want wisdom, you want to know love. First person more than you want breath. Thanks. And when you want love more than you want your breath, you, of course, preempt that magnetic pull that wants you to operate in hate, anger, brutality, manipulation, where all you crave is acceptance, friendship, being acceptable to God or anybody else. When you want to know truth, love-based truth, love-based truth will speak. It will communicate, not how you expect, nor with the subject you expect probably. And it may start with just a few phrases here and there that you learn to become aware of, that you choose to begin to value enough to write them down and date your paper and keep them organized. And you go back and reread and you ask questions. And this is a learning system that forms a learning system that forms your vision to see without the eyes of man. I love you. Theodore Cottingham in Eureka Springs, Arkansas for the moment. I love you. Love each other. To love someone doesn't mean you serve them. To love someone doesn't mean you live with them. Love, love. Don't limit yourself. Please don't limit you to what you see in the mirror. Become the unknowable. Do the impossible. I love you. My name is Do More Than You Have Ever Imagined with your love this day, because you are powerful and you can heal worlds. Because there's a world in every person. And we are birthing new worlds. And the consciousness of love-based truth, truth-based love, will flow now through you, who will learn to become it in your shoes. For the story is about you. Thank you again for listening. My name is, love you all. Thank you. My website is theodorcottingham.com. And please, if you're willing, go investigate Database One, Words from Another World. Learn to search it, learn to value it, learn to spend time, ask questions, search on terms. You can use the asterisk as a wild card. If you search for a phrase, it has to be in quotes. Let me know your experience. I have a contact page on my website. You can communicate with me via that. And my email address is theodoreureka@gmail.com. I'm in love with you all. I'm in love with me. Because I know who you are. The consciousness that created, the consciousness that was the Creator still is, in waiting for its bride. Woo, your bride, your lover, that consciousness, the ungendered, perfect. Walk down the aisle with love anytime you want to. Woo love. Have wine with love. Have coffee. Break a cracker. Enjoy a piece of cake. Care about those people in Sudan who are in sex trafficking. Care about Gaza. Care about Ukraine. Care about Chad. Let not your heart be troubled, nor your peace robbed by the news, but don't be ignorant. You, my friend, change the world order. You have a world inside of you. Birth it. Bring to the birth. Bring your power? No, bring your love. Because that's the most powerful of all. And no metal, no guns, bombs, tanks, nuclear force, strong force, weak force, gravitational force can hold you any longer. I love you. Write me. This is a school, my friend. I love you and I honor you for being here and listening. I encourage you, I implore you, I admonish you, I invite you. Have a notebook. Write keywords. Write thoughts. And if nothing else, remember your love and let your love fly. You're the one. Choose you. Good day. TheodoreCottingham.com. I love you. There will be a school in Eureka, I think. There's a school in the words that I've channeled. I think this school is about you who choose to be in it, who choose to create it, who choose to create the courses, who learn how to outline, who learn how to create a course, who learn you're not stupid, who learn you're not inadequate. You are gorgeous. You are beautiful. You can do it. You can live love. And you can love each other. You can love men and women, wine and song. Let love flow this day. Create a new life, one that is not bound by religion or the pictures that we have suffered with, nor the limitations of all who preach the condemnation of God. Grow up. And I stand against them all who say you're not enough. I stand against every religion, every aspect of it. And who am I? I'm an old guy in Eureka Springs that's channeled a lot of love. Please love each other. Don't grow the church. Grow love. And the power of love will always inquire and cultivate curiosity to let love flow and correct and caress and embrace you. You are more than enough. Thanks. Be the real you.